how your bowl week experience has been in Atlanta this week, and maybe how you would compare it to other experiences on bowl trips you've had in the past.
Yeah, Matt, that's where I was going to start to begin with. I can't thank Gary Stokin and the entire staff. Hospitality people have been incredible here in Atlanta. I can't say enough about, the experience that our kids, our coaches, the families, all the children have had here in Atlanta. Again, and it starts with the hospitality, starts with the people. And again, Gary's built an incredible thing down here with everybody that he's around. Just have not run into any issues at all. It's just been spectacular. Our kids are safe down here COVID-wise. So when you rank it up there, I mean, it's a New Year's Six Bowl. They doesn't get much better than this.
All right. Thanks for that, Coach. Coach Tucker, same question to you. How has your bowl week experience been so far, and how would you compare it to other bowl trips you've had?
Oh, it's been great, and it's been the best. First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here this morning. We've had a great week here in Atlanta. I want to thank Gary Stokin and everyone here at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl for their incredible hospitality all week. Our players and staff have really enjoyed our time here. We've also been preparing all week for a great Pitt team. I want to congratulate Coach Narduzzi and his staff on winning the ACC and having an outstanding season. They are a great opponent, and we're really looking forward to playing those guys tomorrow night. For our program, it's a chance to win 11 games for only the sixth time in school history, and win a New Year's Six Bowl for only the second time. I know a lot of Spartan fans will be traveling to the game, and we appreciate all of their support, and they've been very supportive all season long. This is a big stage and an opportunity to send our seniors out on a very positive note and also gain some momentum for next season. Our team is really excited to get on the field tomorrow night.
All right. Thanks for that, Coach. And on behalf of Gary and the rest of our staff, for both coaches, I can certainly tell you that it's been truly our pleasure to host you guys this week. It's been fantastic. Both of your staffs have been incredible to work with, some of the very best we've ever had. We appreciate you guys. I'm glad you're having a great time, and we look forward to a great ball game tomorrow. All right, with that, we will go ahead and get into questions. And as usual, leading off, we'll go to our rock, Jonathan Schaub. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Hey, guys, that question for both coaches. Obviously, we're down here in the host city of the sport. The College Football Hall of Fame is right around the corner. Y'all have spent some time there, been around players and coaches that are in there, some guys like Greg Jones that'll probably be considered very soon. But what about Coach D'Antonio? What do you make of his candidacy to one day be a part of the College Football Hall of Fame? And what stands out most in your mind of the attributes he brought to the sport that would give him consideration?
Go ahead, Pat.
Thanks, Mel. Mark obviously is a great friend, and I know great friend, with Mel as well because they work together. But to me, the job that Mark D'Antonio did at Michigan State when we first got there, the culture was different, and he came in there and took over a program. We came in there and took over a program and built it up to where Mel took it over and has done an outstanding job as well. So the games he's won there, bringing them to the playoffs, Rose Bowl victory, Cotton Bowl victory, my last game there, watching the build there was incredible. And, that to me is what it's all about. And he did it the right way. He didn't do it the wrong way. He did it with integrity. He did it with character. The kids loved him. They still love him to this day. And I think that's the most important thing is how he did it, not what he did.
All right, Coach Tucker?
Yes, certainly Coach D'Antonio should get strong consideration to be in the Hall of Fame. He's done a tremendous job his entire career, and especially here as a head coach at Michigan State. He's won a lot of football games, and like Pat said, he's done it the right way. He's beloved by all Spartans in this country and throughout the world. A tremendous person. He's got a great family, and it was an honor and a pleasure to work with him for the 5 of my 25 years in coaching.
All right, we'll take our next question from Chris Solari. Go ahead, Chris.
As kind of a follow to that, real quick, both of you guys spent a lot of time during the summer and camp with Mark. I'm wondering what those moments were like, having him around your programs. I think he was also with Luke Fickell quite a bit as well. That's a lot of wins this year for those three teams.
Yeah,
I'll let you start.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. Yeah, having Coach D around is a pleasure. He and I go way back, all the way to 1997, and so he's a friend. He's a friend first, and then a colleague, and then also a lifelong Spartan. So every moment that I'm able to spend with him, I truly cherish those times.
You know, same thing. I mean, Mark has been a incredible, friend. He came down for spring ball, came down for fall camp. Actually came down with Jim Bowman as well, who's a dear friend as well, and got a chance to go out and share with him some of the good Italian food in Pittsburgh. So that's part of it, and he just shares his knowledge and shares what he sees on the field, and coaches, players, just kind of an evaluation of what you're doing. So it's great to get him for practice.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go next to Matt Wenzel. Go ahead, Matt.
The question is for Mel. We heard from a couple guys yesterday about kind of a message or a speech, whatever you want to call it, that Peyton Thorne delivered the other day about the significance of this game. I was just wondering if you could speak to what you've seen from your guys and the significance of the game to, like you mentioned earlier, to get to 11 wins and what it means for the program and to close out a year that, quite frankly, very few, if anybody outside the program, did from you guys coming in.
Yeah, our team has been very focused. Our staff has done a tremendous job in preparation. I've been really impressed with how they've embraced this opportunity, how they've kept the main thing, which is preparing for the game, but also how they've enjoyed the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and all of the activities and all of the hospitality. They've showed a level of maturity, and our leaders have really stepped up, and so it's been a great experience.
All right, we'll take our next question. We'll go to Johnny McGonigal. Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, Pat, I know a lot has happened since, but, in the weeks after the ACC championship, have you allowed yourself to reflect on what attaining that title means for your program, big picture?
Morning, John. Not really. I don't know when that happens. I think that happens when you retire as a coach. Maybe Mel could speak to that as well. He's won a lot of football games, but unfortunately, as coaches, you move on to the next one. We went from that championship game right into recruiting, and you kind of forget about it. I think the fans enjoy it. I think my family enjoys it. I think they've watched it 2 or 3 times on replay. I got a text message with them, kind of a family text message. They go back and forth like, hey, how about this play? How about that play? But that's about the only recall I have from that game. You really don't go back and watch it. You don't think about it because there's so much going on. So you move on to the next one, John.
All right, we'll go next to Jerry DiPiola. Go ahead, Jerry.
Hey, good morning, Pat and Mel. Pat, I was just wondering, I know you do, but I was wondering if your young players understand the significance the 12th win would mean, being mentioned in the same breath with Johnny Majors, Tony Dorsett, and then a national champion.
Jerry, at this point, 36 hours till game time, I sure hope they do, or they miss the whole message. We've talked all year about being 1-0, and we got a great opportunity as well to get number 12 and be the second team in school history to ever get to 12 wins. And there's been some good football played at Pitt, 9 national championships. So that says a lot about who they are. And our guys can set it in stone, legacy. You talk about coming back for the rest of your life to the University of Pittsburgh, being that ACC champion, having 12 wins, being Peach Bowl champion. So that's the goal. Our guys are locked in. We're going to have a battle on our hands, that's for sure.
Next up, we'll go to Matt Charbonneau.
Morning, guys. This is probably for both of you. As we've seen a few other bowl games here and there getting canceled with COVID issues, have you guys adjusted at all how you've, handled your players over the last few days? Is there any concern with that and how you guys have approached it? And I assume you guys are both in good shape heading into tomorrow's game. Is that true?
Let's start with Coach Tucker, please.
Yes, we're in good shape headed into the game. We're nearly 100% vaccinated. We're following all of the protocols set forth by our medical staff, and our players and coaches have done an outstanding job in our preparation. not just on the field but off the field as well. So the game is very important to us, and we're doing everything that we can to get to the game.
And Coach Narduzzi?
Yeah, Matt, great question. Our guys are vaccinated, but as we know, that doesn't really matter anymore. I'm not sure it's going to help you a whole bunch going into the game, but our guys are in great shape. They're locked in. The hospitality room is, I think, where they spend a lot of time, which is outstanding. We appreciate it being so big, so our guys can space out and do their thing in there. Again, it's been so enjoyable that they're really not out running around. So I think they're locked in. I think they know how important it is. I don't make it mandatory to wear masks in our building. I think our kids are smart enough when they know they're close to someone to put it on. They've all got one in their pocket, and we're in good shape and can't wait for tomorrow night.
All right, next question, we'll go back to Jonathan. Go ahead, Jonathan.
A question for both coaches. Have we come to the point where college football needs a commissioner? And what benefit would a commissioner have to maybe calm some of the transactional chaos around the sport relative to players and coaches moving and shaking, especially after the regular season ends?
Let's start with Coach Narduzzi this time.
Yeah, I think, for sure. And that's not a slam on anybody, that's leading college football. I just think it's time. I think it's a time for, college football to move on. We've moved on in a lot of different directions, as we know, in the last, 12 to 18 months, as far as what we're doing, how we're doing it, recruiting rules, name, image, and likeness, the portal. There's just so many changes out there that, that's got to be the next change. I think, without getting into too many details, there definitely needs to be a commissioner, someone that's in charge of college football, whether it's the Power Five and the Group of Five in two different buckets. I know no one wants to hear about that, but to me, you have to put the money in if you want to play with the big boys, I think, and I think the Group of Five wants to be, and again Cincinnati work there. They want to be a part of it. And some of them are, but when they get in those big meetings, it's Group of Five, Power Five talking and voting for different things. They all have different things in mind, and I think until we get that straightened out, I think there's a big difference between what Group of Five wants to do and the Power Five want to do as far as just the rules and regulations. And I don't think we get to a 12-team playoff until that gets organized as well.
Coach Tucker, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on it at this point. Our focus is squarely on the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and putting our best foot forward tomorrow night, and I'm sure there'll be a time and a place for us to discuss that at some point. But right now, we're just preparing for the game.
All right, we'll take our next question back to Chris Solari.
This question is for Pat. I know that you obviously, when you take a new job and move on, there's a chance to go on and play your former school. I guess, how have you kind of tried to separate some of that emotion maybe this week and really throughout the whole bowl process? And is there any pangs of that as it progresses at this point?
No, not really. I mean, there's no time to think about that. You got, a football team, a staff, everybody to worry about it. I mean, it's another game. Again, when you hear that fight song, it becomes different then. But other than that, I mean, again, it was 7 years ago that was at Michigan State and East Lansing, and a lot of dear friends had a great reception last night at the Capitol Club, and got to mingle with the rest of the guys and all the doctors and trainers, Sally Nogle. I mean, just everybody. I mean, so many friendly faces that we engaged with last night. So, but once the game starts, it's like that first hit that our kids make, that first call, the kickoff, all those emotions go away. And again, it's not like you're playing a team that fired you. East Lansing, there's only great memories there. Even the losses were great memories because of the people in East Lansing and at Michigan State.
As a follow for both you and Mel, how much time have you guys got to spend with each other and getting to know each other this week?
Well, like Pat said, we were together last night, and we had a great dinner, and it was a great time of fellowship for not only Pat and I, but for our staffs as well and our support staffs. And so And the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl has done an outstanding job with all of the activities and the itineraries. But last night was really a special time because at the end of the day, we're all in it for the same reason. We're in it for our young people and to do the best we can to help them in their football careers and also their careers beyond football. And so we're cut from the same cloth, and it's always good to break bread and fellowship with the other team.
Coach Narduzzi, your thoughts?
Same thing. I mean, I think the question was like how much time we spent together. Not a whole lot. There's the one evening really that we spent together was last night and had a great dinner. Other than that, it's a football game, and maybe we'll see each other at the convention, share scouting reports, because we probably won't play each other for the next 10, 15 years. So I think, afterwards, I think staffs are good enough friends that we can share stuff. Hey, what did you know? What did we know? How can we both be better? That's something that, that in the future you'd like to be able to do.
All right, next question, we'll go back to Matt Wenzel.
This question is from Mel. There's some reports out there about Ephraim Reed being hired as your running backs coach. I was wondering if you could comment on that.
We're still working through a process. I don't have any new information at this point, but when we do have new information, then I'll be happy to pass that along to you.
Next,
Mind if I follow up with a different question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if we've asked you about Pittsburgh's pass rush, Mel. They're second in the country in sacks per game, and what you guys are doing preparing to face that. Yeah,
they're a formidable front. They do a great job scheme-wise, and they have very good players, and so they apply a lot of pressure to our passing game. We got to do a great job being coordinated with our pass protections, our run game, our play action. We're going to have to certainly be at our best, but they're one of the best fronts, obviously, in the country, and one of the best fronts that we played all season.
Thanks.
Next question will go to Diane Larche. Go ahead, Diane.
Yes, good morning. This question is for Coach Narduzzi. Coach Narduzzi, Pitt fans are coming from all across the country. They're excited. They went to Charlotte for the ACC championship, and they're flooding the internet. What do you have to say to Pitt alumni and fans who are coming in and are very excited about this game?
Well, as I walked in, this media room this morning for the Zoom, you're fighting through the traffic. The hotel is packed. I warned our kids last night that, hey, as we get closer to game time, stay away from the lobby. The first couple of days it's a little empty, but they're starting to stroll in, the Panther Nation, and just come out there and be loud. There's going to be two great fans there as far as Michigan State and Pitt, and Panther Nation will show up in a big way, and should be a great atmosphere in Mercedes-Benz Stadium tomorrow night.
Next question will go back to Jerry DiPaola. Go ahead, Jerry.
Pat, I'd like to ask a football question. Your running game has been kind of a complementary piece, except maybe in the fourth quarter of a lot of victories this year. But I was wondering, will it be something that Nick, as a second-time starter, can really lean on maybe more than another quarterback might?
That's something, when you look at Michigan State, it comes down to what's Michigan State going to give you. And it's weird being on the same call with Coach Tucker, like talking game plan, Jerry. It all comes down to what they're stopping. They got a great front. They do a great job stopping the run. And, if they put more people in the pass game, then you run the ball. If they don't, you're going to throw it. And we've got a lot of trust in in Nick, the Freudian slip there, in Nick Patty, and his ability to throw it. We've gone into games throwing it 40-plus times with him. And, we're going to just take what they give you. And again, most of the time people are packing the boxes, trying to take your run game away. And, we'll play according to that. We're not going to change what we do. Again, it's a great defense. Ron Burton's a D-line coach, and Harlan Barnett, two guys I worked with for a long time in this game. And, I know what they'll do. And I know their philosophy is like ours, is they're going to stop the run. So we're going to have to be able to throw it, and that's kind of the name of the game in college football.
All right, back to Jonathan for the next question.
Question for both coaches, kind of on that front about the evolution of the tight ends. You guys are right there in the thick of it. We've seen at the NFL level, now into the college football level, the evolution of the tight ends. What's next for the tight ends, and what are defenses doing, or what can they do to address the mismatches that we see across the sport with the tight ends?
Start with Coach Tucker this time, please.
Yeah, well, growing up in Cleveland, Ozzie Newsome was my favorite player, one of the great tight ends in the game. So as long as I have anything to say about it, the tight end's going to be a big part of our offense. and so we use our tight ends. They create mismatches in the pass game, but they're also very integral in our run game. And that's something that position is something that's a big part of what we do.
And Coach Narduzzi, please.
Yeah, I mean, the tight end has gone nowhere. The tight end in college football has been there. It's always been there. Maybe the fullback, position is one of those, positions that's, gone in college football nowadays. You don't see many of those guys, but the tight end has always been an integral part of college football and will continue to be. You look at, Connor Hayward, their tight end, number 11, is outstanding. He's a pass threat. He's a deep threat. He's smart. He can do it all. I know he can throw it. He was in our camp. His older brother, Cam, plays for the Steelers. So I'm looking forward to seeing him on game day. He's an exceptional player. And we've got Lucas Krull and Gavin Bartholomew, who are two great tight ends as well. So, they're going to be a big part in this game tomorrow night.
All right, we'll take our next question back to Matt Wenzel. Go ahead, Matt.
I have questions for Pat. I was wondering, what you've seen in the job Mel's done in 2 seasons at Michigan State, and if more you got into the film and preparation, anything that stood out in the job that they've done, taking over during a COVID year and going 2-5 to being in a New Year's Six game this year.
Yeah, he's done an incredible job. I mean, you look at, you can throw out the COVID year. I think you can throw it out for everybody. I think we had just as good a football team a year ago, but things just don't match up. You're not playing with your guys. It's just not normal. But you can throw a COVID year out, but to come in and do the job he's done after the COVID year, he rehauled the roster just to get guys in that, fit his scheme offensively and defensively. And when you look at that and you look at the success he's had, what else can you say except outstanding job?
Thanks, Pat.
We'll go next back to Chris Solari. Go ahead, Chris.
This is for both coaches, Pat in particular as well. You mentioned Connor Hayward. There's obviously the bloodlines that go between the programs with him, and I know that Pitt recruited Connor as well. I guess for Pat, how much did you get to know Connor during the whole recruiting process, and with his father being a star there, and to Mel, what have you sensed any emotions with Connor in this game and in getting to go against his dad's alma mater?
Guess I'll start off there. Just let me just tell you this. I know that guy's an excellent football player, and obviously Mel knows better than I do because he works with him every day. But when he came to camp, he came to summer camp with his mom, and that guy was all over the place. I loved him. He played every position in camp. He was at quarterback, he was at running back, he was at linebacker. You were like, this kid, and again, that's what you want in a college football player, a guy that can play everything. And, I just think he's a superb player that, is playing his final game, I believe, at Michigan State. So I know he'll be fired up. His dad was a, unbelievable, Ironhead, as everybody knows, player at Pitt. So there's some tie-ins there, and I'm sure he's excited to play.
Yeah, Connor has been a very consistent performer for us, very consistent in his preparation, day in and day out. You get the same player. He's a leader for us, and like Pat said, he's versatile. On the field, he can do a lot of different things. But in terms of his demeanor and his preparation, I haven't really seen much of a change. He's a very mature player. And he understands that we need to keep the main thing, and that's just preparing for the game and going through our process.
All right, we'll go next to Kellen Buddy. Go ahead, Kellen.
Hey Mel, I know the majority of your focus is on the game, but have you ever this week have you thought about kind of your short history here in Georgia and how much it means to you being back in a place that you know is part of your history as a coach?
Yeah, of course. I love the state of Georgia. We recruit heavily here in the state. Football is huge here in the state, and I have a lot of fond memories here in Georgia with UGA, and I've actually run into quite a few the Dog fans down here, and they've shown me the love, and I've shown it back, and so it's been a pleasure to get back down here.
Next question will go to Alan Cole.
Yeah, just going off the Georgia piece for a second. This is for both coaches. You've both recruited a lot in Georgia. You've got Georgia players on your roster. How much does playing in a game like this and on a stage like this help with recruiting and just kind of getting your brand out there, especially in a place like Atlanta?
Coach Narduzzi first, please.
Sure. Obviously, we've got two coaches, and we recruit Atlanta heavily, and we did when we were in East Lansing as well. So I think it's an unbelievable area to come down. To be able to play in this backyard around all the high school coaches and not only players that we recruited last year, which I can speak about. Rylan Gandy over at Buford High School, but for anybody. In the future, we hope they get a chance to go to the game. Unfortunately, with COVID, we could not have them come over to practice this week. So we hope they take that opportunity to come watch a super game tomorrow night.
In terms of recruiting, it's great exposure for us. Gives us an opportunity for us to show the players and the high school coaches, what type of program we have, our culture, the way we play the game of football, and just the way we conduct ourselves on a day-to-day basis. Pressers like this and just really give us an opportunity to be open and transparent about who we are and what we're all about, and it can only help recruiting.
All right, we'll go next. Go back to Matt Charbonneau, please.
Mel, I want to ask you about some of these guys that have been around for a while. They're going to play their last game. Guys like Connor Hayward, we mentioned Beasley, Matt Allen, Arcuri, guys like that have been around the program a long time. Were here before you, but stuck around and have become key parts of this team. What have they meant to this program, and what is it like for these guys to kind of go out in their final game, even those, and what they've meant to you, even though you kind of came in towards the end of their career?
It's everything. We're playing this game for those seniors. They've done a lot for our program. Blood, sweat, and tears. They're outstanding young men. They're great Spartans. They're going to do great things beyond Michigan State, and they've been very special to me. Not only have they done a great job in terms of production on the field and in the classroom, but they've really embraced our culture, embraced me, and it really helped me turn this program, help me shift this culture, and have really been the drivers to help us get to where we are today.
Jerry, you got the next one.
This question is for Pat, and Pat, I hope you're not offended by it because you are 12 years younger than I am. But I was just wondering, have you ever thought about how long you'd like to coach, and also what drives you every day after all these years?
Gary, I think I'm more than 12 years younger than you, first of all, so start there. Happy New Year. But you're probably right, Jerry. No, I've never thought about, how long I'll coach. And I'm not going to think about that for a while. I think when it's the end, it's the end. And I'm going to coach as long as I feel the energy to continue to do this game that I think everybody loves. I mean, it's a game you better love it. You put too many hours, in the preparation, mental and physical preparation of this game, that if you aren't all in, you're going to have a problem. And I'll definitely hang it up before that ever gets to that point. There'll be energy, and I better enjoy walking in the office every day until that time comes. So, I'm never going to put a date on it, but I would say 65 is probably about the end. So, I'm going to spend time with my family and hopefully have some grandchildren. And maybe when the first grandchild comes, maybe that's it, Jerry. I don't know. But till that point comes, coaching football.
Jonathan, you've got the next one.
We've got to ask about John Madden. The sport lost a tremendous coach and a true icon. Curious, any reflections, thoughts about his contribution to the great game of football?
Yeah, I'll start there. I know our kids probably know him from video games, but John Madden, as a kid growing up in a coach's world, your dad being a coach, and when you were at home, you're sitting on the couch next to dad watching John Madden coach with the Raiders. That's what I remember. And then listening to his commentation during games. I mean, his commentary was incredible. Just a legend in the game. His personality, and again, never meeting him, just knowing him from, watching him on TV. His personality was what you loved about him. It just seemed like a real guy. And the stories you just remember, he didn't like, flying around and taking the Madden bus everywhere he went. So just an incredible coach, legend, that we lost yesterday, I guess. And, our thoughts and prayers go with him and his family.
Coach Tucker, your thoughts?
I can't say enough about Coach Madden, a giant in the sport, and just, for many, many years, as far back as I can remember, just being extremely impressed by, obviously his ability to coach and teach and motivate, and then also, his career beyond coaching was just outstanding, and we lost a great one.
We'll go next to Chris Solari. Go ahead, Chris.
This question is for Mel. This is obviously your first time preparing for the bowl game or a bowl game as a head coach. What's the difference for you in terms of going from being an assistant and kind of following and helping to create a plan to being the head coach and kind of installing that plan for the month?
Yeah, it's not much different, and for me, and it's we have a process, we have a plan. I have a great coaching staff, and like I've said before, I'm not a one-man show, and so we all work together to put together the best plan that we can for our players, and then we execute that plan, and so we've had tremendous preparation up until this point, and we'll continue on with our process all the way up until the game.
Is some of that's just the delegation that you have throughout the year, the responsibilities for other people on your staff?
Yes, everyone has clear and defined roles. A lot of the change is really with our operations staff and Cody Cox and Ben Mathers and Simone Prue, and they've done a tremendous job with all of the organization and with the travel and everything that comes with moving a large organization to a bowl site and making sure that we can create as much normalcy as possible. And so we've been extremely organized, extremely efficient, and that's really helped us keep the main thing and focus and prepare for the game.
All right, we've got time for 2 or 3 more. Do you have any final questions? Please get into the queue. Go ahead, Jonathan.
One more with 2 defensive, obviously, experts. What are some of the keys for both coaches? Absolute keys to defensive line play. What are some of the fundamentals that separate an average defensive line from some of those guys who have played very well for you and gone on to the next level?
Is that for both coaches, Jonathan? Okay.
Yes.
Let's start with you, please.
Who'd you say start with?
Yeah, go ahead, Coach Narduzzi.
Okay. D-line play, I mean, it starts up front, as we all know, with your O-line and your D-line. And when you talk about defensive linemen, We lost two good ones a year ago, one to the Titans and one to the Minnesota Vikings. So we've done a great job rebuilding those guys. But, the first thing I'd say is it comes down to athletic ability. And I know you probably don't want to hear that. And then it comes down to coaching. But, those guys up front, we try to give them a lot of freedom in what they do. And again, being an old D-line coach and old defense coordinator, to me, it's, I don't want a bunch of robots up front. I want those guys to get off the ball and cause havoc in the backfield. And that's what we do at Pitt, is just try to cause havoc and not so much of you're in the C gap or D gap, or, try not to be as much gap oriented. Let our linebackers fix the defensive line, since they're nose to nose with an offensive lineman. So there's going to be some gap issues. And the one thing I don't want to do is go sideways, trying to stay in a gap, if that makes any sense to everybody out there. So we're going to be aggressive up front. We're going to take our shots. We're going to take inside moves in the pass rush, and we're going to take what someone gives us. And again, it comes down to instincts. When you talk about great D linemen, it comes down to instincts. We want players to go make plays. I don't want to handcuff defensive linemen and make them, just kind of stay on an edge and contain a quarterback. If it makes sense. So Charlie Partridge, our defensive line coach, does an outstanding job in our scheme in coaching our defensive line, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night with that D-line. But it's critical up front.
And Coach Tucker?
Yeah, it all starts up front. D-line play is about mental and physical toughness. We like to rotate a lot of guys and keep our guys fresh. We want guys to play with great technique and fundamentals. We want them to do their job first, and they can help out. We never want to give up 1-for-1. So we're going to play blocks. We're going to come off the ball. We're going to lead with our hands. We're going to have great pad level. We want to butt guys in the throat, lock out and separate, find the ball, and be relentless in our pursuit. Keep guys fresh and play 60 minutes, 4 quarters in the game as hard as we can.
All right, and we'll close out with our last question from Doug Roberson. Go ahead, Doug.
Hey, Matt, thank you. This is for both coaches. For the fans in Atlanta who maybe aren't as familiar with the two programs as those who support the team are, what kind of game is it going to be tomorrow night, especially without Pickett and Tucker? It had the potential to be really high scoring, and now I'm not sure. I was hoping to get y'all's opinions.
Let's start with Coach Narduzzi, please.
Okay, Matt. Again, Doug, what kind of game? I think it's going to be a heck of a game because, Mel Tucker's a defensive guy. I'm a defensive guy. So I think what you're going to see is a lot of contact. I think you're going to see two teams that are tough. I mean, when you put on, a reel of Michigan State or Pitt, you're going to see two tough football teams that are well coached, that are going to battle to the end. As I told our guys, it's going to be 4 quarters. Don't think it's going to be over in 2 or 3. It's going to be 60 minutes. We're going to have to be relentless in our pursuit to get a victory. But I think it's going to be two teams that believe in their coaches. They believe in their culture. They believe in their teammates. And again, I see this game going down to the wire. And again, I see a tough football team on both sides of the ball, coming out there at game time tomorrow.
All right. And Coach Tucker, what do you expect out of the ball game tomorrow?
It's going to be an exciting game. It's going to be a hard-nosed, physical football game. Players playing with tremendous mental and physical toughness, great effort, extreme effort, coaches coaching hard, and teams that are in great condition and ready to play 4 quarters, 60 minutes in the game, and both teams playing to win.
All right, thanks very much for that. Well, we certainly are looking forward to it. Coaches, we thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate all you're doing this week. Looking forward to a great ball game tomorrow, and we'll let you go. Get back to work. Enjoy your last day before game day.
Thanks, guys. Harold Pitt.
Thank you so much. Go Green.